So it's pretty easy to see that the world is turning to shit, and it's hard to see what one can do about it. And on top of that, some of the worst people on the planet are responsible for some of the most important functions. And no matter what political beliefs that you hold, what I just said probably tracks for you. And on top of all that, we're well into hyper-novelty, so the world is throwing bigger and bigger changes at us, faster and faster, and we've barely wrapped our head around the change that was thrown at us 2 weeks ago. Existential dread is looking pretty appealing when you think of things like that, right? The problem that we're collectively facing is multifaceted. One of the main aspects is that we don't even agree on the basic who, what, when, where anymore. I don't think anyone believes that their political opponents even live in the same world that they do. And that's not entirely wrong because we're all algorithmically siloed off into our own little digital bubbles. And that's just one of the factors. Because of the situation, I don't think there's one singular solution to this, right? Obviously. But I think I've identified one aspect of the problem that I think I can move the needle on. And at this stage for me, if I want to give myself a shot at doing what I want to do, I have to go about it a certain way. But before I get into that, I want to make one thing perfectly clear. We're not locked into the HellWorld timeline. I don't know this as a fact, but this is a deeply held belief. If I didn't believe it, I wouldn't be recording this right now. But a problem that I've been running into is that a lot of the people that I see who are concerned with the same issues that I am are essentially advocating for a return to Monke, and that is ridiculous on its face. I can absolutely see the appeal of Monke because the trends as they are now don't look really good. But I think we have an opportunity to turn the trends as they are towards SciFiWorld and away from HellWorld without like stopping the train. I'm obviously not sure how, but the thing that is clear to me now is that this is a job for a ragtag band of misfits. Hence the name Hitchhiker's Guide to SciFiWorld. That's what those letters mean. It's like people can't even imagine things turning out well. How are we ever going to get to SciFiWorld if we can't even imagine it? The people who are capable of changing the trend towards SciFiWorld have a couple characteristics, or at least the ones I'm looking for right now. The first one is access to multiple algorithmic bubbles. I'm not sure if I'm going to call them silos or bubbles, and I want to make this clear to people who haven't realized this yet. If your feed or whatever algorithmic silo you are in, if it only contains people who are on your side, but also the worst of the people on the other side, that's one bubble, not two. Anger at the other side is actually more effective than joy and pleasure at your side at keeping you on these platforms, right? I also want people who are capable of imagining things going well. And I know they exist because I found some. I stumbled upon a video while thinking about this project. But before getting into that video, I want to share something about my life. It'll be clear why I'm going into this very shortly, okay? In the early to mid 2010s, my information diet wasn't the healthiest. Like, it was healthy in terms of information, but it wasn't healthy in terms of psychology. I spent a lot of that period essentially watching fear porn. To give you an idea, it's embarrassing to think, but this is true. I listened to the Alex Jones show every day during that period. And it's out of concern for that Sid from over 10 years ago and the equivalent thereof now that I just want to specify something. If you're presently concerned that the world is accelerating towards a great reset, please do not watch this video. This video is just 30 minutes of bugs and pods, okay? You already know everything you need to know about the bugs and the pods. You do not need more details about the bugs and the pods. Please spare yourself, I implore you. And to everyone else, I consider this video to be required watching. For real though, it's a good primer for your imagination because it points out trends and the direction where things are going, and it's a good foundation on which to imagine what is possible. There's a phrase that gets thrown around a lot in certain circles of the internet. Never let a good crisis go to waste. The way I rephrase that is there's opportunity in the chaos. And the thing is, that opportunity in the chaos isn't just there for the bad guys. So for those of you for whom this video would not be 30 minutes of fear porn, it's a good primer to imagine what opportunities we have over the next little while. Now, there's a huge overlap between the next group and the group that I just implored to not watch the video that I mentioned, but it's totally possible to be in one group without necessarily being in the other. So if you're not in the following group, I want you to recognize yourself. No Luddites. Not for now, anyway. I know there are some of you that I can get through to, but I don't know how to engage with you constructively right now. And if I wait until I figured out how to engage with you constructively before starting this, it'll be too late. It's gonna take a while. I wanna say I think many of your concerns are valid. I plan on addressing the big ones throughout this show. But for now, I'm focusing on people who can envision a future with the tech that isn't HellWorld. And that's not you. You wanna return to Monke. Once I figured out how to engage with you, I will circle back. I'll extend an olive branch, okay? But in the meantime, if you want to hang out, you're welcome to. I just ask you, please observe quietly from over there. Just let me cook, okay? My mission statement for Hitchhiker's Guide to SciFiWorld is entirely contained within this card. I'm not kidding. And yes, SciFiWorld absolutely includes occult tech. Temperance has always been my favorite card, so it makes all the sense in the world for a project like this that means what it does to me, for the things that I'm trying to do with it, to just be in this card. I'd rather not speak in riddles like this, but I don't think I can accomplish what I'm trying to do if I say it explicitly. But I'll put it this way. The more you learn about this card, the more likely you are to just get what it is that I'm trying to do. And in the meantime, this image will have to suffice. I'm actually thinking of 3 specific things on this image. I won't tell you what they are, but for those of you who are curious enough to guess, I am willing to play hot cold with you, but once you're red hot or burning hot, you're gonna have to guide yourself in from there. Again, I'd rather not speak in riddles, but I promise you everything is in there. This video is a signal flare / time capsule / me trying to jam my foot in the door before it closes entirely and I am stuck looking from the outside at the way things are going, you know? And my intention is for this to be the only required watching for newcomers, which is why it's taking the format that it's in. Depending on when you're watching this video, you might want to double check the description below because, first of all, the olive branch that I promised the Luddites that I would leave for them will be down there. Also, and I don't think this will ever happen, but if somehow I change my mind and I decide to explain to you exactly what I mean by this, that'll be down there too. So yeah, if you have concerns of societal collapse, the bottom line is you either have a place to bug out to or you don't. And if you don't have a place to bug out to, how much time do you think you have left? And what do you plan on doing with that time? To borrow from Scott Adams, the current moment has very strong third act vibes. The third act of a movie is when the hero has to overcome what seems like insurmountable odds. And I think we can do it. If you've made it to this point in the video, I hope you'll stick around. And in the meantime, I hope you try your best to chill the fuck out, all right? It's gonna be hard, but yeah, take care. I'll see you soon.